Okay, readers, I am really excited about our target today. Take a look and listen as I read. I can read non-fiction text. Read with me. I can read non-fiction text. So readers, today we are going to be reading nonfiction text. Now you already know, because of other conversations we've had, that reading nonfiction is different from reading fiction. Because when we read fiction, we think about things like characters and the beginning, middle, and end and setting. But when we read nonfiction, we're not thinking about those things. We're thinking about what the author is teaching us, what we're learning about. So you know, as writers of nonfiction text, that you're thinking about teaching your reader. Well, when we're reading nonfiction, we're thinking about what the author is teaching us. So I picked a really great book that we're going to study together for the next couple days called Super Storms. And it's written by a guy named Seymour Simon. So we're going to take a sneak peek in a minute, but first there's a word you need to know. One of the words that's going to be important as we study superstorms is destruction. Do you think you know what destruction means? What do you think destruction means? And what examples can you give of destruction? Turn and talk. You might have said a lot of different things about destruction. You might have said words like, destruction is when things are damaged or hurt or maybe broken. And that would be true. When something is destroyed, it means that it's ruined, that it's damaged, that it's broken, that it's hurt. So destruction is damage or hurt or brokenness. So I'm wondering what that word is going to have to do with superstorms. Let's take our sneak peek. So when we take a sneak peek, we start by looking at the front cover, right? So I see the title, Superstorms by Seymour Simon, and I'm seeing some lightning, some pretty intense lightning. That would be scary to be in that storm. And let me look at the back of the book and read what the author says. Storms are sudden, violent changes in the weather. Tornadoes can lift cars off the ground and rip houses apart. That sounds like a lot of destruction. Let's open it up and check our sneak peek. Now, since this is a nonfiction book, I'm thinking it might have a table of contents at the beginning. Am I right? Nope, I'm not. This book doesn't have a table of contents. It's set up differently. I'm wondering if your brain is telling you some new clues about what this book is going to be about. I know my brain is. What sort of things will Seymour Simon be teaching us? Well, let's dive in and find out. Superstorms by Seymour Simon. The air around us is always moving and changing. We call these changes weather. Storms are sudden, violent changes in the weather. I'm thinking about that definition of storm because I was wondering what a storm was. And it says that it's a sudden, violent change in the weather. Every second, hundreds of thunderstorms are born around the world. Thunderstorms are heavy rain showers. They can drop millions of gallons of water in just 1 minute. During a thunderstorm, lightning bolts can shoot between clouds and the ground. A bolt of lightning is 50,000 degrees. That's 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun. Lightning can destroy a tree or a small house. It can also start fires in forests and grasslands. My goodness, I've learned a lot of fascinating things already. I'm wondering if you have too. Can you give some examples of what you've learned so far? Turn and talk. Well, readers, I don't know about you, but I didn't know, first of all, that every second hundreds of thunderstorms are born around the world. My goodness. I also didn't know that a bolt of lightning is 50,000 degrees. But I also kind of got something clear that I wasn't sure about. Storms are sudden changes in weather that are sometimes violent. Do you notice that when I talked about what I learned, I didn't just read what was in the book, I put it in my own words? That's important when we're talking about what we learn from nonfiction. Let's keep reading. Thunder is the sound lightning makes as it suddenly heats the air. You can tell how far away lightning is. Count the seconds between the flash of light and the sound of thunder. 5 seconds equals 1 mile. Hailstones are chunks of ice that are tossed up and down by the winds of some thunderstorms. Hail can be the size of a marble or larger than a baseball. Nearly 5,000 hailstorms strike the United States every year. They can destroy crops and damage buildings and cars. I'm wondering if, based on what you've learned so far, you can use that word destruction we talked about earlier to talk about what you've learned, what Seymour Simon has taught us. Turn and talk. Readers, we're going to put a bookmark in our book for today and come back to it tomorrow. But remember that when we're reading nonfiction, we're always thinking about what we're learning. And we do that, what the author is teaching us. And we do that not by rereading to somebody else what the author said, but thinking about what the author wrote and then putting it in our own words when we tell somebody else. Readers, the reading workshop has begun.